Good morning. My name is Deborah Kennard, and I am going to teach a lesson on Because of Winn, Dixie, the book. And it's going to be a little different because I don't have any students except my dog and my cat who wander in and out because of COVID, the summer and spring, I should say, of COVID-19. So having said that, I'm going to teach, but I'm also going to talk about my lessons so you know the methodology behind what I'm trying to accomplish in this lesson. All right, so it's a comprehension lesson, and throughout I'll interject, but mainly also try to teach it to my imaginary classroom. All right, so the lesson is comprehension because of Winn, Dixie. When the children arrive, we are going to watch a video right here of the trailer, because I think that's a great way to get the students interested. So here we are.
From 20th Century Fox.
I know it's hard moving all the time, and that's part of my job.
She was the new kid.
But they already have a picture.
In a town where even neighbors were strangers.
People in Naomi used to rely on each other.
I think people forgot how.
All right, so I think that is a great way to get students interested, and we'll talk about why do you make books into movies, because you're not going to do it if nobody read the book or it's boring. And again, helping them get excited that they're going to read a really great story. And then I'm going to tell them what the lesson's about. We're going to read, I'm going to read, they're going to read, and then we're going to have some fun activities. And in the book, I will read the first 2 chapters, and the way I'll do that is to think aloud. Here we go. So students, I'm going to begin reading, and I'm going to show you how I read and how I think. The think aloud we've talked about before, that there's words maybe we don't know, or it reminds us of something, or we project ahead into the what might happen later. So just beginning with the first chapter. My name is India Opal Bouloni, and last summer my daddy, the preacher, sent me to the store for a box of macaroni and cheese, some white rice, and 2 tomatoes, and I came back with a dog. So right away I'm thinking, India Opal Bouloni, baloney? It can't be baloney, or is it baloney? Right away I think, is she someone foreign? Is she Indian? That's an unusual name, and so I would want to know right about that. I would want to know right away what that name represents, and hope it tells me soon. And then I love dogs, so I'm wondering what kind of dog and how a dog came into the picture. And then this is what happened. I walked into the produce section of the Winn-Dixie grocery store to pick out my 2 tomatoes, and I almost bumped right into the store manager. Winn-Dixie, has anyone heard of Winn-Dixie? Well, that's a funny name, but it's a funny name for, I think, for a grocery store. But if you're in the South, that's not a funny name at all, because they also have a store called Piggly Wiggly. And if you go into the South, you won't see a Ralph's or an Albertsons. They have their own grocery stores, and they're obviously their own names for grocery stores. So we would go through the first chapters, and then I would ask them to go through their first chapters. And then kids, what we're going to do is, while you're reading, I want you to have your yellow stickies and write down your think aloud thoughts and comments and questions. And you're also going to specifically focus on descriptive words, because what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the meaning of words in a sentence, and how a selection of a word can vary based on, or the meaning of a sentence can vary based on the word selected to describe the setting or communicate the thoughts, actions, and feelings of a character. For an example, if I said, it's Christmas morning and I'm really glad to be opening my presents, does that really communicate what I'm feeling? Probably not. There's other words that could be used to describe how I'm feeling. Class, what are some words you would describe that also mean glad? I'm happy, I'm cheerful, I'm excited, these are all words that mean happy or glad, but they give you a different sense of what you're trying to communicate. For me personally, I'm ecstatic it's Christmas morning and I can't wait to open my presents. So please note those words while you're reading, and then we'll talk about that after you're done. So I've paired you with your reading partners, and you will read one paragraph and then the other will read another paragraph. Now, I'm talking to the video that I'm putting a strong reader with not a strong reader. The EL student will sit by me and he will have a vocabulary chart I've made right here because of Winn Dixie. The words I have are skidded, missionary, suffering, fortunate, muttering, congregation, constellation, potluck, nudge, because those are some unusual words and they're just in the first few chapters. So I will have that for him or her, and then in addition, I will have my shades of meaning chart on the board. It won't be completely filled in, but by the end it will be filled in, least strong to most strong words. So my example of happy for Christmas morning, happy, joyful, cheerful, thrilled, ecstatic, the different words that they're going to be looking at, and later we'll talk about what they're going to do with those. So after the reading, we'll gather back and I'll ask them to work collaboratively with their fellow partner and put the words in order, some of their descriptive words we'll talk about, and ask them to put them in order or shades of meaning. So again, funny would be amusing, silly, hilarious, and they would get stronger and stronger. And then after they have a certain time of doing that, I'm going to allow them to go on their iPads and go on a thesaurus, because I think they'll even go deeper into it than if they'll have the opportunity to work themselves on it, but I think it's great as a backup to come up with even more words. So that would be the first activity. Then we'll come back as a group. Class, what are some words we learned? Share with them. How about we do some fun acting out? So students, come on up. I'll have half the class act out. Each pair will act out one of their words or of a feeling or an emotion, and then the other half will guess. So it's important to connect a physical, it helps to connect a physical action with something you're learning. I think it just cements it together, and studies have proven that. So that's a fun physical activity everyone does. And then we sit back down, and the next activity is we're going to talk about dialogue tags. And the students have just learned about that, so let's review. What's the simplest dialogue tag that is used all the time? She said is one that everyone uses. Students, what are some other dialogue tags that would have stronger meanings? Again, the shades of meaning of words. She said, what would be stronger? She shouted, she hollered, she screamed. We're going to put colors with them, which I did here, and then we're going to fill this whole chart up with their dialogue tags and shades of meaning words that they've done through their two activities. We will talk about the choice of words, and students will have the opportunity to give some examples of a sentence. I'll draw their attention to a sentence, and they'll look and see if they could have used a different word and see how that changes the meaning. For an example, if we said in the book, I wondered if she was hiding anything, or I suspected she was hiding something. Well, suspected, what do you think that means? Suspicious. It's more than just a wonder. Maybe something's happening beyond what I'm reading. All of this is to help them develop a sense of the deeper meaning of a story when they see these words, and not just decoding the word, but really thinking about how it changes the feelings, the actions, the setting of the story. And then they're going to take their dialogue tags, and they are going to put them, that we're going to hand out paint chips, and they can put them in order of meaning, something sort of benign or not. She said would probably be this light one, all the way down to, she hollered, which is used in the book, to maybe a darker one. So they'll have fun doing that, and they can do that also with their descriptive words and have some time doing that. And then we'll have sharing of those words, and we'll talk about how it can affect their writing. That will continue to add to the shades of meaning chart as we read through, and that will help them when they start writing about the book, how they can use different words to reflect different meaning in their stories. Thank you.